All right, while we're waiting for the future, what's up, TG Trading? Yo, haven't been in live for a while. How are you? I'm doing good. We have some time to kill, and this is gonna be a YouTube video. Say hi, chat, say hi to YouTube. We are going to react, because Renegades is next week, right? Renegades is next week. I do plan on releasing a video, kind of like I did with Edge of Fate. Here we have Edge of Failure. Edge of Fate is already a failure, and why? And why you shouldn't buy it. Let's watch it and see if I was correct. Usually I don't really react to myself unless it's an old video, just see, damn, that I've changed. Like, oh man, look how I used to start out with. No, we're gonna watch this to see how much of a fucking prophet I am. We're gonna see, was I on the money? Was I correct in calling out? Like, what things was I doing right? And what things did I do wrong? By the way, my second most viewed video ever. Okay, so we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch it in high quality. This is me. Hi, how you doing? Hi, how are you? By the way, I'm absolutely gonna make another video with this intro because this intro is fucking gold. This video is fucking gold. All right, we're gonna watch it. Let me know if I need to turn the volume up on it. I'm gonna be watching volume just to see.
Come back to play Edge of Fate.
Why should you come back?
Well, we're waiting.
We're waiting. What's the
Bungie
reason?
has finished their final dev stream, and
it's funny because it still encapsulates why should people come back, and they couldn't even give a reason why. It struggled to give a reason why, and people didn't come back.
next week is the release of Edge of Fate, and the community could not be more divided on it. And to be brutally honest, saying it's 50-50 is being generous. Seriously, most of the overall community is not happy with the Edge of Fate, with many canceling their pre-orders. In fact, we have some slight insight into data that pre-orders are way down compared to the final shape.
50%.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Canceling their pre-orders. In fact, we have some slight insight into data that pre-orders are way down compared to the final shape.
I was on some other bullshit when I made this video. This is the shit I want to do with all my videos. I put so much effort into this video. So much effort. It's just crazy. But yeah, Bungie Shield. And what's funny is we have better graphs now than this.
Yes, the final shape has been mentioned. Don't worry, we'll dive into more of that with some fair insight. Now, I would like to preference this video by acknowledging that
preface. I said I corrected that was got corrected. It's preface, not preference. Preference is when I have my certain preferences. I'd rather not say the wrong thing, but I do anyways.
There will be some bloodthirsty Bungie fanboys, and yes, many who are going to be immediately peeved at the title. But let me be brutally honest, I will give detailed explanation of why Edge of Fate has already failed and why I don't recommend others to buy it at the end of the video. Now, I know there will be people trying to
and people listened. People did not buy it.
Claim this video is right.
By the way, if you ever want to know why I do reviews, it's because of that. Because people don't buy it if they watch you play it and they hear your feedback after you play it.
Rage bait, but here's the thing. It's not rage bait if it's true.
It's true.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Also, just as another point of educating the Bungie fanboys, criticism does not inherently mean hatred. Criticism can be a constructive tool for improvement, focusing on specific flaws or areas needing attention.
Yes, GG Fire, we're gonna do
hate Destiny, but I do have plenty of criticism to provide in the hope that the games improve and that Destiny doesn't die, because against popular belief, I really do love the game. In order to see why Edge of Fate is already a failure, we need to go back a little bit before Edge of Fate was even a focus point. Marathon. Yes, everyone's favorite plagiarism simulator. Yes, I'm poking fun at it, but the truth is, in 2023, when Bungie revealed Marathon, many Destiny 2 players felt betrayed by Bungie. They felt that the quality of Destiny was being diminished to fund
and people still believe this. Even now, people still, that was 3 months from before the launch of Edge of Fate. It's been 6 months. People still feel the same way.
Focus on Marathon. Bungie's
Yes, Fire. There will be a live stream. We will be reacting to it.
new baby, especially when Marathon was
In 2
getting all
hours.
the bells and whistles that were wanted by players in Destiny, like dedicated servers. Fast forward to when Marathon reception started going downhill. It lit a fire in many of the Destiny community, as many were upset that Bungie had wasted so much time, money, and resources on Marathon, which was viewed as being a failure in the public gaming sphere, when many of the Destiny community believe Bungie should have been focusing on Destiny 3 instead. Another consideration is
What, an hour and 30? Yeah, an hour and 30.
Destiny Rising being made by NetEase, creating an entirely new Destiny with a fresh take and viewpoint.
It was a good
bringing
game.
Many fan
Just
requested
mobile.
features such as sparrow racing, clan housing, dual wielding, and a fresh story. Destiny Rising has over 5 million pre-registrations.
It went up to 10 million, by the way. It went to 10 million pre-registers. So it was a really good experience. People love people love the features. The only issue that held it back is that it was a mobile game. That was it. More people were excited for Destiny Rising than they were actual Edge of Fate.
More people are excited for a mobile game than they are pre-ordering for the Edge of Fate. It showcases people are still very much interested in wanting Destiny, just not what we're getting with Edge of Fate. This
True.
disdain has carried over to the Edge of Fate. Is this the entire reason that the Edge of Fate is a failure? No. However, it's only fair to present all the facts of the matter, all the parts of the equation. See, after the conclusion of the Light and Darkness saga, many of the community wanted Destiny 3, but Bungie continued to crank out expansions, but at a smaller size, which enraged the community even more, to the point that many of the content creators began labeling all the systematic changes coming to Destiny as Destiny 3 or Destiny 3-like changes. Now, the last thing to focus outside of the Edge of Fate itself
That
is
worked
the
out
final
well,
shape.
didn't it?
We have to acknowledge the reality that many players were done with Destiny after the final shape. Many have cited not to return until a Destiny 3 or simply just done with the franchise, period. Bungie has the unfortunate task of trying to make their introduction to a new saga compete with the conclusion with its last, as we have real-life examples of other forms of media trying to follow the same direction. A perfect example is Marvel, as they have struggled to form a new saga within the Marvel universe after concluding their big Infinity War
This is
saga.
true, by the way.
All right, finally,
It's funny because all this is still true. All of it is true. Everything I said, nothing I said was factually incorrect. Marvel's still struggling. They're trying to do the Secret Wars now to be the next Infinity Saga, right? And so here we are. You know, Destiny's trying to do the next Light and Darkness Saga, except for Fate.
Moving on to the reveals and focuses surrounding Edge of Fate, as this is the main point of failure from Bungie.
But Bungie revealed the tier system.
That's free.
What about Armor 3.0?
That's also free.
The firing range?
Also free.
The portal?
Still free.
The MO meter changes?
Free.
Power progression changes?
Involves the portal and seasons, which we know seasons are now free, and the portal itself is still free. One of the biggest reasons the expansion
It's funny how much that it was all free and yet it wasn't enough to keep people around.
has already failed is because Bungie has failed to advertise the actual DLC. Bungie had content creator previews, multiple Bungie blogs, and 3
Can't wait for the next round, and it's going to be the most bare minimum bullshit we've had. Cannot wait for the content creators to release stuff so I can make a video on it and talk about how fucking little there is to it.
dev streams covering Edge of Fate, with 90% of all of it focusing heavily on the free changes and not the DLC, with 2 of the dev streams regurgitating the same information we already knew from previous streams, content creator previews, and their own website, and it was 90% the free stuff.
Because we're good at our jobs.
During a dev interview, Bungie explained how they wanted to bring back questions to the Edge of Fate.
We want the game to be about asking questions again.
Ironic, because many people have left with many questions about Edge of Fate and what they're actually buying.
It's still true. People are wondering what was worth $40 because that shit was not worth $40. People are like, this is a $20 expansion. This isn't $40. What the fuck did I spend money on?
I don't think I have seen worse advertisement for a product in my life, especially for a video game. It's baffling to me that they actively avoided showing any real information about the DLC until the last dev stream.
And they're still doing it, baby. We're a week before launch and they're still doing the most bare fucking minimum as possible. Let's fucking go. We're building momentum. Thanks, DMG.
2 weeks before launch. It's like trying to sell someone a car, but focusing on something free that isn't even part of the purchase. Pete Grossman here at Pete's Car Garage. That's right, players. You ever want to own a Ferrari like Pete? Of course you do, because Pete's sexy. Discount on Ferraris. That's right, for only $50K. Pre-order yourself.
I forgot.
Ferrari. When you come on down to Pete's Garage and pick up your Ferrari, you're going to enjoy the experience because we have a brand new innovation, brand new remodel of our bathroom. Absolutely free. That's right. The toilets, when you take a shit, this thing will literally wipe your ass. Absolutely free. Hell, you don't even need to buy a Ferrari. Just come on down. It's absolutely free. All the what we can do for our customers. That's right. A great experience. Absolutely 100% free. Now you're wondering, what about the car? What about the Ferrari? Don't worry about that. It's a Ferrari. Trust Pete. He has plenty of them. You're going to want to buy this Ferrari and go exploring. That's right. That's what we sell in here. We're selling you a journey, a process for you to explore. It's all about the surprise, baby. That's right, player. It's all about the surprise. Ain't no one give a shit about the details. Just pre-order the Ferrari right now and come on down at any time to enjoy a free experience of luxury of your anus. That's right. Take a seat in any of our toilets and you're going to be in heaven. That's right. Absolutely free. Did I mention it's free? Absolutely. Be sure to pre-order the Ferrari for only $99.99. You too can have a Ferrari and be like Pete. But don't worry about that. We've got absolutely a free shitter for your ass to sit down on. That's right. Nothing's going to be better for your asshole than Pete's Garage. Pre-order now and I'll see you later. Playa. Either Bungie.
I will say that someone complained that the skit was too long, and it is a little long, okay? I love doing the skits like that. Order now. Ha cha 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 cha. Yeah, Bobby.
Thinks the Destiny community
Get your Ferrari.
is full of complete morons who can't see the difference between free and DLC, or they're desperate to get people to come back to Destiny. Newsflash.
Man, we've heard that before. Desperate to get people back? Damn.
The Destiny community isn't stupid, and the lack of advertisement of the DLC and heavy focus on free stuff has caused many to cancel and refund pre-orders. Because why buy something with minimal representation when you can just simply reap the benefits of
minimal representation turned into minimal delivery, minimal actual care? It is crazy as hell that this whole expansion and seasonal cycle was minimal viable product.
the free aspect of the game? Unironically, this is probably the most free-to-play Destiny has ever felt, with
It's
all
true.
the focus being on the free stuff.
And it wasn't good because they ignored 90% of the fucking game.
Almost feels like Warframe for a minute there. Okay, but ignoring the free updates for now, what about the actual Edge of Fate content Bungie revealed? Surely that was exciting, right? One of the very first things we learned about the Edge of Fate is it was going to be a smaller expansion comparable to Rise of Iron. Ironically, Bungie tried to roll that comparison back in the third dev stream.
Like, how does that actually break down when we look at the Edge of Fate and Kepler? Like,
It did not feel like a Rise of Iron because Rise of Iron had strikes, new multiplayer map, a public space. Like it's just, no, it wasn't the same.
you had mentioned depth and secrets and a bunch of different things. So.
Yeah, so I think like
And by the way, I think Rise of Iron had better secrets in my honest opinion. Like unlocking Outbreak Perfected or Outbreak Prime, that secret hunt was so much better than anything in Edge of Fate.
you and I were talking about this in rehearsal a little bit, where like that comparison is just to give us like a ballpark of where we want to be. But at the end of the day, it's like apples and oranges.
One of the biggest selling points was the dark matter mechanic, or the
Oh,
new
boy.
destination, Kepler. content creators, and even Bungie advertised Matterspark as abilities.
It as our
Just remember when they try to hype you up for Star Wars abilities. Remember this.
premier ability, the crown jewel to release, and that's called Matterspark. And
What you listening to, son?
I don't think you like it.
Well, why not?
so there's multiple new abilities that your players are going to be able to discover on Kepler that's going to make them navigate and look at the world in different ways. But
There's nothing funny about these sounds. What that person on your tape has is a medical disorder.
Yet, the reality is Matterspark
It's so funny because it's still true. Because it's not multiple abilities that no one gives a fuck about. In fact, most people didn't even fucking unlock all of them because it was such a bullshit experience.
really isn't a real ability, just like the deep sight mechanic.
On Kepler, it lets you turn into Matterspark the same way you'd summon a sparrow. Same way you'd summon a sparrow.
And it's worse. To be honest, it's worse than the Sparrow.
Both are used for transversal. Granted, Matterspark is more advanced mechanic with combat capabilities.
You can stun champions with Matterspark, and you can slowly blind enemies. That was the only thing that Dark Matter was good for, was blinding enemies and stunning a champion if you didn't have a weapon to stun. But you had to sit there and keep jolting the fuck out of a champion to finally, get stunned.
And the ability to upgrade it as well. However, this mechanic is a stark difference from true abilities or supers such as Prismatic. The Prismatic subclass alone brought hype during its reveal and encouraged many players to buy the final shape.
But that's not fair. The final shape was the conclusion of the year saga, the 10-year saga, in fact. And of course, they'd make something hype like Prismatic. It's not a fair comparison.
I'd counter-argue this point by saying as much as a conclusion is important, the beginning of a new saga is equally as important. I mean,
holy shit, if that is not the case. Destiny 2 Steam charts. If that is not the fucking case, holy shit, we are going into. When we went into Edge of Fate, we had 30K concurrent, and by the way, console numbers we know is very similar to the same. We have charts to show that console individually is roughly the same. So don't let people gaslight you that say more people playing console. It's not true. Maybe when you put them all consoles together, there's more than on PC. But individually per console, it's roughly about the same. So when you look at the picture and you see, yeah, we're not doing so good right here, Chief. Edge of Fate had 30 to 40 concurrent players going into Edge of Fate, whereas Renegades has under half of that. Yeah, that's a boohickey. Bungie themselves wouldn't have the legacy of Halo if Halo Combat Evolved didn't pop off as the introductory of the new saga. By the way, it's very fair to say Edge of Fate did a horrible job introducing this new saga, because it did. It has a nasty, nasty reputation and nasty taste that has not gotten people hyped for this Fate series. We would have never had Halo 2 or 3. First impressions are key. You gotta go big. I mean, supers historically have helped sell expansions. Look at Lightfall. Strand is one of, if not the only glowing things that people said about Lightfall. Beyond Light introduced our first darkness subclass with Stasis, which drove people crazy with hype over it. Then you have Edge of Fate, and you can go zoom zoom like Sonic the Hedgehog. Yep. It's so fucking true.
I don't think you have any idea how fast
I am, boy.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
And you Strand and Stasis abilities we already had access to, and they're bundled up into the dark matter mechanic, which is only attached to Kepler. It's not a real ability you can take out, play with the rest of the sandbox. You can't go zoom in Salvation's Edge.
No.
Even Bungie developers have admitted there's no plans currently to bring.
I noticed I repeated myself twice.
Dark matter mechanic to outside of Kepler.
Yep. We have these brand new Kepler mechanics, Matter Ball. We have the one that you can shift the environment and all these things. Will we ever see these mechanics on anywhere other than Kepler, like in future.
Isn't it also crazy that these are the same 3 at the summit? And that's crazy, isn't it?
Content.
Without
Again.
making promises, because at this moment in time, there are no plans to like take them out of Kepler.
Players aren't excited or getting hyped about a mechanic that you can't use in the wider game.
True.
And it fails to bring the same excitement and hype like new supers, abilities, subclasses. Players are able to take and use these to challenge the rest of the game with. Dark Matter is a failed attempt to make balancing the sandbox easier for the developers by not actually making new abilities, but rather a destination mechanic that Bungie can easily move away without designing future content around, making their whole job much easier at the expense of the player experience.
It is so fucking true. Absolutely, this is absolutely true. The experience for the player got shittier while the job for the devs got easier.
It's also ironic that most of the trailers showcase a little bit of the arc ball, and then everything else is you're seeing supers and abilities that we have access to already that has nothing to do with Edge of Fate. Like, oh boy, that hunter's using arc super. Wow, I wonder where you can get that from. Oh,
it was funny seeing them showcase supers being used in the trailers. You're like, bro, we already have that. Why are you trying to make it? It's very deceptive because it makes people who don't play Destiny think that that's what you're getting with the expansion, and you're not.
Oh, yeah, not this DLC. The next major selling point of Edge of Fate is the destination of Kepler, specifically the exploration and secrets. Ah, yes, secrets!
Where's the place touched by the Nine? Concealing a lot of secrets?
You had mentioned just a minute ago about secrets.
Secret.
Okay. So, what exactly am I buying when
Wear
I
the
get
same
Edge
shirt.
of Fate? Shh. It's a secret.
It's a
but
secret.
why is it a secret? Do you not want me to give you my money? What do you mean it's a secret?
Bungie's will is not
its own.
But it is. It is your will.
Well.
You are Bungie. You're the one that's selling the DLC, and I want to give you my money. What am I buying?
What am I buying?
What? What kind of business are you running?
Listen, man, I don't get paid to understand. My boss just told me, like, hey, keep it a secret. So I'm gonna keep it above 50. It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Enjoy.
You know what, man?
Enjoy.
Whatever. Y'all weird. I'm gonna go play some Borderlands 4.
I did.
We heard you like secrets with your secrets. I'm not a rocket scientist, but at some point after finding a secret once, it kind of loses its charm.
That statement has aged like fine fucking wine. People complained about all the damn secrets in this expansion and how much fucking shit you had to do. And most of it wasn't like not even a puzzle or a secret. It was just like, go find this item and it's behind a fucking rock. So the statement this actually has aged very well and poorly for Bungie, by the way. No one's playing the campaign for the secrets. Oh, Kepler secrets. The only thing that was cool was like the mini bosses that you had to try to find. That was cool. Those secrets were cool. But the amount of, bullshit that they crammed into the world of Kepler, secrets, just made it not feel good. It was very fluffed up. It felt pointless. It felt like this is the world. Come on. I actually went and played the missions on Mythic the other day, and Jesus, it reminded me why I hated it. Yes, Mythic was just awful.
Magic. The fact that Bungie hyper-focused secrets as one of the selling points for a DLC is another point of contention with players, especially after Bungie revealed you'll be doing the same campaign multiple times in order to unlock higher tier gear. It goes along with the same issue of Bungie focusing on exploration being a selling point, as both secrets and exploration reach the same outcome. Once you've explored everything, there's no reason to go back. The reality is Bungie.
And that was the problem with Edge of Fate. It had no fucking replayability. There was no grind for like power level. Everyone played the Portal after they got done with Edge of Fate.
Bungie has a nasty habit of hyping up destinations or some destination aspect. Shadowkeep. Bungie heavily focused on going back to the moon, baby.
Yeah!
That is cool. Shadowkeep is about returning to the moon.
We haven't been in the moon in a while, since Destiny 1, and a lot.
I'm going to say right now, they're going to mention Mars. For this dev stream that's coming up today, they're going to be like, we haven't been to Mars in a while. They're going to mention it and hype the fuck out of Mars.
It's changed.
Just like this.
The moon
I'm going to call it now.
Is something really scary that is playing on your fear in a way that hasn't happened before. Before it was, oh, it's a big giant thing and it's scary, but now there's actual like some psychological elements to that.
Europa! Bungie focused on its secrets here and the new weather system.
Europa is literally like a time capsule.
Europa is huge. Killer destination, freezing cold.
Desolate. Some of the most beautiful spaces I've ever seen in a video game.
Under the ice, all kinds of secrets.
I'm so excited for what players are going to find.
The storm on Europa was actually something we've wanted to do for a long time.
It's funny. We actually had snow, maybe not to the extent that Europa had. We had snow. I literally went through the Plague Lands for a video a while ago. But goddamn, it just the environment felt better in Destiny 1. Europa got close, got to that. And after Europa, we just really haven't had anything close to environmental. It's like Bungie's too lazy to put that much effort into the world. They're like, eh. And so Kepler just feels really empty.
We wanted it to feel harsh.
The weather system is so awesome. Like you're walking through an open space and all of a sudden things start happening.
Europa is actually cool, but then they literally just abandoned it after 1 year. Yes. Listen, I'm not hating on these destinations. I'm just pointing out that Bungie has a nasty habit of, when I was doing this, I was just pointing out Bungie has a nasty habit of overhyping destinations as a selling point and then only to abandon it. So it's like, why bother try to sell this if you're just going to abandon it anyways?
Coming across like Fallen or Vex for the first time, you can barely make out the glow in their eyes.
The sound of the wind, the ice will change based on what the weather is looking like. You'll actually feel every piece of the environment changing around you to match the storm.
Only to do absolutely nothing with that. The weather system has had zero impact in the game and has never been utilized in any new content since. Neomuna, again, more secrets, and of course, Bungie hyped up this destination.
Yep. Hundreds of years. It branched off from Earth during our collapse and shut off any communication. So they've been secretly existing on Neptune for a very long time and keeping themselves safe.
It was amazing to see how the concept artist made all of this beautiful art feel really.
The art style in D1 was so much better. Does anyone remember the flashpoints they used to do? I found them quite fun. And you actually had a reason to go back to planets that week. Oh God, you're right.
Fresh and new, but also a
that's
part
when
of the
Bungie cared,
Destiny
though.
Universe.
When we think about how to design Neomuna, like what's the architecture like? We're thinking of a lot of aerodynamic things, fins and sailboats.
The high winds, strong pressure. We have that beach area where we show the sand is made out of.
I thought, again, I'm pointing out that they put in this video that they put so much fucking effort into something that you will never fucking notice. Like, I never once looked and stared at the fucking rock. Like, oh, it's a pretty rock, guys. It's a pretty rock.
Diamonds. And yeah, there's some mysteries in there.
It's a pretty rock.
The cool thing about Neomuna is that it's like this big neon-soaked city, but it has quite a spectrum of different environments.
I think my favorite absolutely is the Thrillodrome. It is an arcade lost sector.
So excited for people to see the Puka Pond with all
Puka
of the
Pond.
pukas that have been like such a mystery since Beyond Light.
And they're still a fucking mystery, by the way. If you want to know the pukas, it was never explained what the fuck they are. And you're supposed to apparently have gotten one as a pet. That was a suggestion, and that never happened.
The Typhon Imperator has landed square in Ahimsa Park.
You see that the city is indeed kind of in shambles in parts. There's smoke, there's explosions in the air, and I just go back to the teamwork of everybody getting into a room and thinking like, what can we do to make this feel high octane, very explosive, and familiar?
Yeah, Neomuna turned out to be one of the most hated destinations.
I did not hate Neomuna nearly as much as other people did. A lot of people fucking hated Neomuna, just absolutely hated it.
Bungie has ever made. But really, Bungie's doubling down on this smaller expansion and exploration reminds me of Curse of Osiris and Mercury.
Are in fact heroic. Now let's check this out. I promised before that this was the most rewarding public event. And
I love Deej. Deej was the gaslighter before DMG was. Like, Deej, you gotta love fucking Deej. Deej tried his hardest to make everything exciting. He had the charisma to do it too. Like, he had the charisma to make you just to sell shit as gold. Like, you gotta realize that Deej was a master gaslighter. Like, but he was actually funny. That's the difference between DMG. DMG is not funny at all. Deej was.
There we have it. We have 2 chests for a change. And check out those sweet moves.
Though, ironically, Bungie only did 2 streams of Curse of Osiris. Well, Bungie did 3 streams for Edge of Fate. And they showed more in Curse of Osiris than they did out of the 3 Edge of Fate streams.
You still play this shit? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Hey, nothing's better than playing. Like, if don't tell me you won't want to play the Titanic while it sinks. I would be recording the shit out of that experience because that sounds like fucking fun.
This is just an example how much Bungie advertisement has drifted away to whatever Edge of Fate is now. For most of the community, hyper-focusing on a destination is not a selling point when they've got a history of abandoning destinations and never providing a reason to go back to that world or ever evolve the world in that matter.
Still
During
true.
a dev interview, they talked about not adding new perks to the exotic class items introduced in the final shape in the Pale Heart, explaining they'd rather make something new for a new DLC.
Plans in the near future to add more perk options to either of the columns for exotic class items?
I don't think that we'll come back to those class items and say, like, here we're going to add more perks so that you can go and, like, chase them harder or grind them more. I think if we were going to do an experiment like the exotic class items again, we'd probably develop a new one.
Which, if you can't read between the lines, let me help you. Bungie doesn't want to focus on old content or destinations. I mean, the portal is soft sunsetting 90% of the game,
which turned out to be true. This was a week before launch, and I am a fucking prophet. I told you guys, I warned people, and 18,000 people watched this, and the players have left. They've left the game. Listen, people like to try to act like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm probably one of the most knowledgeable Destiny 2 players that isn't like a true blue content creator. Like, I played this game fucking religiously as just as a paying player. As a playing player, I have probably more experience and understanding of both Bungie and Destiny than most of the player base. An ungodly, unhealthy amount of this game, which is a good reason why I'm now casual. Absolutely fucking glad I'm a casual, because hindsight's 2020, when you look back and you're like, damn, I spent this much of my life playing one singular game, and it is so nice to play other games. It is good for my mental health to play other games. It is so nice. But it is crazy how much in the know I am that I can foretell a week before launch how shit's gonna play out, and it is exactly as I said it was.
Though we'll get that stuff maybe back at some point.
Whoa.
In the portal? Question mark?
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
What? It's gone. It's all
gone.
Looking at Kepler, it gives an IO reskin vibe. But we haven't really seen much about the destination itself, which is funny because even Lightfall, Bungie showcased multiple points of interest of Neomuna and what you expect from it. A common selling point of expansions are the exotics. And the Edge of Fate.
By the way, we now know why they didn't showcase, because there wasn't much to showcase. That map is fucking small. there wasn't much to showcase.
Is no different. Now, let's be honest here. We know we're not going to get the same power fantasy as exotic class items for some time. However, the Final Shape did release exotics like Still Hunt and Speaker's Sight, both which, even though they have received nerfs, are still very strong and are used currently in in-game activities.
Shout out to Hunters getting that 40% buff with it because it's now going to be cracked.
However, the selection of Edge of Fate exotics are not as impressive and are pretty mid.
The Warlock one is the one that maybe some people still use, but honestly, they're all fucking mid.
Overall, you'd think for a new saga, they tried to sell impressive exotics to get people excited for the DLC. The Titan exotic lets you recall your hammer. Meanwhile, Synthoceps exists in Wormgod.
I'm telling you now, Wormgod's Caress is the king for melee. Where if you're using Prismatic Slam or Bonk Hammer, like it is so fucking good.
Caress is getting a massive buff. Bonk Hammer is back, baby. The Warlock exotic makes your Hellion stronger. Wow. Meanwhile, we have multiple best in slot turret exotics already.
Controverse holds, and damn, why am I having a blank? Getaway artist. The two best arms for anything. You got grenade build, and then you got your turret build, and it's even better now.
Oh, but did someone say grenade build? Sorry, a minor boost to Hellion isn't going to cut it, let alone replace Speaker.
Again, this is coming from someone who has actual experience with this fucking game, and I am so fucking correct. It's like it aged like fine wine, and I'm a fucking prophet. Literally called it, and outside of every other exotic, this is probably the one that's kind of used. But now that Bungie's buff turret builds, no one's fucking touching this shit.
Sight. The Hunter exotic. Well, let's be honest. The best Strand subclass is Prismatic, and
which it is because everyone's doing grapple, melee, and killing Atheon in 4 hits.
Most people are too busy doing things like woohoo.
Yes!
Just to be clear, all 3 of these are.
Yes! They're still doing it too! They're still doing it. Holy shit, I'm a fucking prophet.
Mediocre. They could have and should have been aspects for each class. The new 140 hand cannon actually is pretty neat. Seems similar to Sunshot, but Arc and Stasis instead.
It's ass in PvE. No one's fucking used it, and it was murdered in PvP because it needed to be.
Cooler than Lightfall exotics at launch, yet might be a sleeper pick, similar to how Final Warning took a year to pick up and become popular.
I was right. It was a sleeper pick for PvP. It was absolutely a sleeper pick for PvP. Called that shit out
itself. The Scouts, it's a Scout. Traditionally, Scout.
It's funny because the only thing that made that Scout pop the fuck off was the bug. And now people just use it casually, but it's still not like you're better off using Outbreak Perfected or anything else. Like that Scout, as soon as they fixed the bug that was making it do a shit ton of damage, which I'm not a prophet. I can't just guess that every gun's going to have a bug and make it God tier. So I'm gonna take the L on that, I guess. But the Scout itself, pretty unremarkable. It does good damage, but like there's other exotics that are far more potent right now.
Aren't good, and this one seems like a Scout version of Choir of One, which is a good exotic. Could it be a sleeper pick? Sure. Is it worth spending $40 on? At the moment, most people aren't interested in buying the DLC for 2.
By the way, it wasn't part of the DLC. It was part of the seasonal pass. I know that.
2 exotic weapons, if I'm being honest. After 3 streams of...
You actually only got one exotic weapons, unless you're counting the raid. The raid exotic as well. And then the armor piece.
Providing barely any information on the DLC, and the Destiny community criticizing the lack of information as if
very true.
The community was wrong for wanting to know what the heck they were purchasing. They finally revealed that we are getting a destination activity.
It's funny. They were so pissed off at revealing this, and now we know why. Because it's the only fucking thing that shows up at the end. And they make it sound like it was a bigger thing than what it was. I cannot wait to watch this back because I have not watched it since playing the Sieve. but we know now that Deceive was a colossal fucking failure of an activity.
What else players can expect in terms of a destination activity?
Yeah, so we've seen y'all talking about it. Like we hear y'all, and this is one of those things where like we wanted to hold this back for it to be like a surprise and delight moment for everyone.
It was definitely a surprise. It was definitely a surprise. It wasn't a delight, but it was a fucking surprise.
When it appeared on the destination in the post game. But yeah, let's just talk about it a little bit. So there is a destination activity on Kepler. It is, I'm not going to name it here. I just want y'all to see it.
So this new destination activity is a fusion between Wellspring, which people liked, and Vex Incursion, which
I don't even think it was close to Wellspring. Was it Wellspring? Like Vex Incursion, it was correct because people like, I don't know why they decided to do a timed. Making it timed was so fucking stupid. I don't understand. It works for a public area, but for a non-public area, it makes no fucking sense.
People did not like. Content creators and veterans liked it because it guaranteed we got the new exotics every time, but most people did not like the limited time public aspect of Vex Incursion. People loved Overflow and farmed Ergo Sum constantly, and even farmed for red borders for those Paleheart weapons, and even exotic class items.
It's crazy. I ran back and I did an Overflow solo, and it was actually a decent experience. Like, it wasn't boring. It was like, I got a couple of random exotic class items to drop, opening chests. It was a good experience overall. Like, it wasn't like the most exciting thing, but it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't mind. Like, it felt enjoyable. Like, I like the world. I enjoy going around and killing the different enemy types. Like, it's a night and day difference. That's for sure. Going back and playing it a year later, and I still think Overflow was a good activity compared to like Deceive.
But this activity is mainly used to focus farm rerolls of the mid-exotic armor we just talked about. It's also hard to get excited about farming any new exotics, considering Bungie revealed that Edge of Fate launches with exotics being capped at tier 2, the second worst stat.
This is so true, and it's still a fucking problem. Exotics bottleneck builds is one of the stupidest shit I have seen, and I've yet to give even bother try to farm. I will not try to farm the Sieve at all until after they fix exotics.
Added armor in the game. Bungie really is shooting themselves in the foot with both low tier exotics and mid functionality.
Because we're good at our jobs.
Finally, we got the news about the campaign, which is free roam. That's cool. We know we're getting side missions, which if you think about it, so did the Final Shape, and those are
I'm going to argue the side missions were small and few in the Final Shape, but they were meaningful. When I tell you that side missions in Destiny 2 are as brain rotted as Skibidi Toilet, that's how it felt. Like that, it was just the most nonsensical, had nothing. It was just so, it felt like an afterthought. Like, here's all these side missions and there's no real point to them other than just do them, Forehead.
Actually really enjoyable. I mean, it's a 50-50 if the campaign is fun. Lightfall was horrible. Shadowkeep and Beyond Light were pretty mid. Witch Queen and the Final Shape had the best campaigns post Forsaken era. However, as the introduction of a new saga, the expectation that the campaign needs to be at least minimal with Witch Queen, that's where we need to be when it comes to enjoyability.
We never got there with Edge of Fate.
Aspect that Bungie revealed, which also is controversial for the community, is world tiers. Essentially, you choose to play Brave or Legendary difficulty first, similar to current expansions, and
I hope they never bring this back. I hope this never comes back. And I hope that it just does the regular, it scales based on everything else, where it goes all the way to like ultimate mode or something. The mythic and all that was just so, it was fucking cancer.
That experience. Then you unlock the ability of getting Fable and Mythic difficulty, which allows you to access to more, you know we're going to talk about it, secrets! And you're able to farm tier 2 and tier 3 Kepler armor, with Mythic providing a unique version of it. For instance, this is the prototypical grind. Do the harder mode, get unique cosmetics like a ghost or a sparrow, like other campaigns. get unique emblems that you'll wear for one day until you do the day one raid, and you'll never touch the campaign emblem again. For a lot of the community, this is a pointless grind. The idea of world tiers is a failure to everyone, but
holy shit. I called it before without even realizing how shitty Mythic tier was, but it is a fucking failure. Holy shit, I called it a week before it came out.
The most hardcore players. Generally, I'm keeping my thoughts to the end, but I'll leak out a bit. I like the concept world tiers, but keep it a secret. Shh.
Keep it a
Seriously,
secret.
Bungie's design is already a failure simply for the fact that all you have to do is do the legendary campaign to get the power level for day one in the day one raid. Then after that, the raid should be the place to get tier 4 loot, where we know in the mid-season update with Ash and Iron, you're going to get access to the epic raid, which will let you get tier 5 loot.
The whole experience with that was not good.
That's if it's not also a massive failure. We know tier...
Guys. This is the epic raid. Do you think it was a massive failure? I think it was a massive failure. Yeah, I do. I do think that the epic raid was a massive failure. I do.
Tier 5 is seemingly time gated.
I do.
Which is another failure if true. That only makes people care less about buying and playing the DLC when they'd rather wait for the mid-season update of Ash and Iron and play.
Which is what people did. And even then, they didn't give a fuck.
Play from beginning to end. But even with the raid and the world tier loot from Kepler, where are you using any of this loot? The portal? That's right, Bungie's magical Sunset Square. It's free, but where else are you going to be using the loot you earned from the DLC?
I'm a fucking prophet. Remember, this video came out a week before launch of Edge of Fate. I'm a fucking prophet.
Raid, a destination activity, and the world tiers, which you already did in the first place to get access to tier 2 and 3 loot. I think there is a reason Bungie focused on the free stuff mostly for the Edge of Fate instead of the DLC itself.
You'll get nothing and like it.
Which is one of the biggest reasons this DLC is a failure. Because when you understand the bigger picture, there really isn't much content to do.
I am a fucking prophet. It is insane. It is fucking insane. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see a prophet in the works.
One of the really big goals for us was just giving you more reasons and just easier ways to play, just some of the best content we built.
There isn't a new strike. There isn't new lost sectors. Those seem to be replaced with secrets.
So 2 to 4 exotic quests. We only got one destination activity, 7 armor pieces, 7 exotic weapons, 5 new, 2 old, 1 raid, 1 strike, 3 reprised, 1 PvP mode, 4 PvP maps, armor ornamentation you can earn.
Even though the 2 most used content in Destiny is lost sectors and strikes, legend lost sectors for exotics, and strikes for Vanguard ops for little Timmies, and grandmasters for veterans. Even though grandmasters are going away for some odd reason, they're being soft sunsetted.
Conquests were not a replacement for grandmasters. They're not the same.
The lack of new strikes is a massive failure. Even though certain creators would have you believe it's not a big deal, let me remind you, Rise of Iron had 3 strikes added to it. The focus, where you'll use all your Edge of Fate gear, is the raid, the destination activity, and world tiers. And of course, the portal, which is all old content, including seasonal content like Savathûn Spire and the Coil, activities that were paid that should have never been removed from the game. Yes, sunsetting never left Destiny, and it's also been a pain point with the community.
Yep.
However, advertising your DLC with old seasonal content is not how you drive sales.
It's so fucking true. You don't drive sales. And guys, we're gonna watch the trailer today. Let's see if they try to sell this update with old shit again. Let's see if they sell the expansion of old shit.
It's always been like that. People always played older content to get power level and to use the new gear on.
First off, a single portion of the Destiny community hates the power grind. They hate artificial grind.
which it's no longer a single portion. It is a fat half or more of the community that hates it. We know based on possible research from the community, it's going to take about 90 hours to get ready to get the top tier to be able to farm for tier 5 gear. Like, what are you talking about? This is the most artificial grind. And many in the community, especially your little Timmies to casual players, to even some of the veterans, are not going to want to engage in. I am a prophet. Again, this is aged like fucking fine wine. Don't let anyone gaslight you and think that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this game. I'm very knowledgeable, and it's crazy that I saw this and called it before it fucking happened. It is chef's kiss. If there's ever a moment that I feel, you know, I feel good, it's this moment, because I call this shit out. And people like to gaslight that, oh, I just don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't play the game. I'm a fucking prophet. Sit on my shit.
Such a boring, lackluster farm that is going to be like 15 activities in the portal. First off, a significant portion of the Destiny community hates the power grind. They hate artificial grind, which that's what this is. The portal is nothing more than an artificial grind. Secondly, the grind and focus is mostly the portal. Bungie's new scheme to implementing sunsetting without actually removing the content from the game is instead Bungie's trying to hide 90% of the game in the closet, hoping you'll only focus on the portal. That's right. Instead of playing how you want to play, Bungie says, nah, you'll play what we want to play and how we want to play it.
Exactly.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Which is one of the biggest failures of the Edge of Fate, is the free update. Bungie shot themselves in the foot with this one. It's even crazier when you realize that they didn't reveal a single dungeon or raid in the portal. You know, the stuff you actually paid for.
And even now, the dungeon layers are like a test, like not even a freebie. They're more of like a beta test. Like here, test our raid layer and then buy the full product later.
Like the final shape, which is the most recent expansion. Yeah, that's in the closet now. Bungie did mention you'll be able to play whatever you want for the pinnacle cap of 200, but the seasonal, you'll have to grind out the portal. So you can't choose how you want to play the game with the content you paid for. This is, if not, one of the biggest failures, especially for a...
And I think it absolutely was. Again, I called it, and it was a failure. The fact that you had to play the portal, and only the portal, and nothing else mattered, that hurt the expansion dramatically.
New player, imagine buying a bunch of content for Destiny only to find out that it's soft sunsetted. Sure, Bungie has the rotating system in the portal, but that system has been hated by the Destiny community for years. The community hates rotators, and it seems like it's only getting worse in the Edge of Fate. Crazy how games like Warframe lets you play the entire game, new content releases.
Oh shit, Warframe mentioned. People are gonna lose their shit now.
After new content releases, you can still go back and play all the old content at any time that you want. See, people aren't buying the Edge of Fate because they are getting smarter about how they go about Destiny. They aren't buying into Bungie's tactics anymore. Sunsetting content is Bungie's greatest sin. Now they're trying to up their game by soft sunsetting, thinking people are too stupid to see what the portal really is.
And thank God people are wisening up. People are getting smarter. They're not falling for the trap of content creators and anyone else trying to gaslight them. People are they're speaking. And they're listening to people like me, which is great, which is why I'll continue to do what I do until either Destiny turns the ship around or it dies. I will be here until Destiny dies. I will dance on its grave or I'll celebrate its rebirth. One of the two things will fucking happen. And there's not a damn thing. Any content creator who doesn't like me, any hate watcher, there's not a damn thing that anyone can do or say that will make me go away. Not a fuck thing. I'm here to the very end, whether it's dancing on graves or it's celebrating a rebirth. One of the fucking things are going to happen, and I'm going to be there for it, baby. That's right.
Is. Oh, and PvP still being ignored like an unwanted stepchild. Sure, they have.
Again, he does it. It's crazy. I called out PvP not being, addressed, and it was this whole expansion. PvP was neglected. Holy shout out to the PvP. I'm not a PvP bro. I play it very casually, but I know that people out there, some of the most dedicated players are PvPers. So, as a consumer, I'm here for you. Okay, I'm here for you. Shout out to the PvPers. I will always speak out for the PvPers, even if I'm not really one of them. I'm a fucking prophet.
Mentioned one or two things about PvP. You can grind power level all the way through. Isn't that great? That's so considerate of Bungie that you can power grind all in PvP. No new maps though, which the PvP community has asked for years to bring new maps. And Bungie even made a PvP strike team to make a PvP map pack back into light before the final shape launched. Yet here we are, another DLC and no maps, no new modes that we know of. Why does this matter? Because PvP players have felt neglected, and many Destiny PvP content creators have stepped away for this exact reason. Not only that, to access trials and comp, you need the most recent expansion to act.
You know what's funny? I'm thinking about the Mercules post where the guy's like, this encapsulates the problem with Destiny. It's just ability spam. And the trailer shows ability spam. That is ironic. Isn't it ironic that their trailer even shows ability spam?
Access it. Why buy something if PvP itself is not getting any love anyways?
It's because we're good at our jobs.
People will buy the DLC for the story.
Yes.
Sorry, Bife. Sorry.
Story about the 90s and time travel that shares no similarities to anything else.
Nope.
Sure,
nope.
There'll be lore nerds who will dive into it. But asking people to dive into a new story after the abomination of the episode series this past year has made many people doubt Bungie's capability to make a good story.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Episode Echoes made a canonic wife beater that had no resolution as a villain. She just drifted away with the Echo like it's a Saturday on the lazy river. Echo showed us that Bungie can't make good villains. So Revenant decided to...
And it's so funny because they made Maya the villain of the... Like one of the main villains for the Fates. Like the Edge of Fate. And she kills the butthole monster. The god. She kills a butthole god. You can't make that shit up.
Bring back dead ones like Skolas, who, even though we killed again,
and we technically brought back the dead god, the 9, we brought it back to life. Bungie strikes again. We actually bring back more dead things.
Is hinted to still be alive, but we did stab Fikrul to death, and Aramis ran off to Reese to become the fallen Jesus. And Heresy proved again that Bungie can't make good villains, so they brought back Oryx, only to kill him off again and change absolutely nothing in the High Pantheon, except Savathun hates us and Ziva Wrath Uber hates us now. Context matters, and this year of Destiny narratively has been not received well.
By the way, for all the hate watchers, I'm not going anywhere. You can suck my dick and rotate on it. I'm going to continue doing reviews and stuff like this, and I'm going to piss you off, and it's going to be so good because there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So my advice is, if you don't like and I make you upset, you can either keep hate watching or you can go and touch grass. You mentally challenged retards.
This has been the lowest player count both on Steam and console, and numbers roughly the same. And the numbers
proof. Here you go. Proof that numbers are roughly the fucking same on console and PC.
Are roughly the same and have been proven to be this way multiple times. So the argument that Destiny is a console-focused game is a fallacy with nothing to substantiate that claim.
Hot diggity dog.
She pegged his ass to death. Oh yeah, that you got sent to the fucking Shadow Realm. What's funny? It's funny is that this again another point where we're even worse than we were when this video came out. We are down below Curse of Osiris. Holy shit.
This place is magnificent. An embarrassment of riches, as they say.
Bungie no longer has the goodwill of the Destiny community to sell a new saga on story alone. Gee, I wonder who's to blame for that.
It's because we're good at our job.
One of the biggest failures is the perception of Edge of Fate in regard to Bungie's lack of creativity. The community has expressed time and time again that Bungie lacks creativity. And when
creativity is definitely still lost here.
You look what we know about the DLC now, we have world tiers like Diablo. We have regions like Diablos. We have a capstone missions.
Which are actually not really like it's just the missions themselves. That's all it was. They're not even like Diablo world where you do the dungeons. It's literally you just do the campaign mission and that's it.
Where have I heard that one before? Ah, yes, Diablo. Also, these capstone missions are essentially weekly missions, which we used to have a weekly mission system back in the day, and then Bungie removed.
Let's be honest. Me making videos alone is not going to get Bungie's attention, Ghost. Like, let's be honest. Like, me alone is not going to bring the attention to Bungie. Now, as a collective, multiple voices, multiple people, you know, everyday people not playing the game, that is going to speak volumes. We know that Bungie has lost a negative $204 million, at least for Sony, because of how Edge of Fate and the experience has been. That is going to get Bungie's attention. Now, whether they're going to do anything with that, we don't know. But that is not only getting Bungie's attention, it's getting Sony's attention. And honestly, if Bungie refuses to do anything that benefits the player, putting the pressure on Sony by making them lose money, that should be the goal. As a collective, if we push Sony to lose money, they will push back. And guess who's going to get the hammer? Bungie. Moved it, and now they're bringing it back, making it seem like it's a brand new concept that we've never had before, even though we have.
It's because we're good at our job.
Matterspark. They've already said it was inspired by Metroid Prime, and modifiers, that's more like Halo. Though, let's be fair. Bungie started that anyways. The 1990s vibe and time travel, Warframe, it's not plagiarism. It's just edging the line of inspiration. Bungie.
And the only reason Renegades isn't, the only reason why Renegades isn't, you know, plagiarism is because they paid for the rights from Star Wars to be Star Wars.
He failed to address the years of complaints about the stability of the game, the constant error codes, the fact that content was breaking, including new content.
I am a fucking prophet. I called this shit out, and 5-6 months later, here we are. Just to clarify, 4 months ago, and we have had nothing but some of the worst game-breaking shit, absolute game-breaking shit we've ever had.
Content. I mean, Bungie literally soft-locked themselves during their own dev stream and quickly cut away so people wouldn't see it. Nothing says good advertisement like showing your new product is already breaking.
If you're wanting to know what's going on, in this, you're supposed to destroy all the shield generators, which then allows you to kill the servitor. And so they're running around trying to see if they missed any of the generators, but they destroyed them all. So it soft locked because the servitor didn't pop its shield.
It's because we're good at our jobs.
Let's finally take a snapshot picture of the community's biggest issues.
And again, I'm a prophet. I literally warned people because even their demo was buggy. And I said, this shit is about to be some of the buggiest shit we've ever had. And absolutely, listen, Hades, I'm not even talking about the sword bug and some of the fun bugs. I'm talking about game breaking, like every fucking event has some kind of game breaking thing that hinders the experience. Like even Festival of Lost had multiple instances of the boss soft locking, so you completely had to, you know, either wipe or you had to quit out completely, wasting all your progress. And it's not even just that. Multiple, like about, I would say 30-40% of the game broke with the launch of Edge of Fate. You know, console players couldn't even play the campaign because they kept crashing. I mean, we're talking about massive degradation to the game. So again, another moment where I am a prophet with Edge of Fate. Since Bungie and content creators want to package everything together, advertise it, and even going as far as presenting this as a Destiny 3 style reset of the game, there is a large part of the community that hates Armor 3.0. There is a large part, including veterans, who hate the portal. There is a large part that is more true than anything else. Part of the community that hates the tier system for armor and weapons in general. Yep. But I think the big, again, a week before launch, and I was calling this shit out, is issue that no one is saying out loud. Everything Bungie is doing is pushing Destiny into more of an actual MMO. Diablo has seasons that reset. Gear becomes pointless. Granted, so do characters, as you'll usually completely start from scratch season to season. Bungie is pushing for world tiers like an MMO. The armor system like an MMO. The reality is Destiny 2 is not a real MMO. It's not. Bungie is trying to force systems into the game that are not what make Destiny Destiny. And one of the biggest complaints is the tier system and the loot and how pointless loot feels in the game now. Like, that is something that I did not address, but it is like in its own. But the tier system itself definitely there's a big argument for even for veterans. Like, seeing several content creators complaining about how loot feels pointless. And that's why so many of the community are not happy or excited in general with the game and Bungie for that matter. It's the reason why this expansion has already failed, because it's trying to push the community in a direction they don't want to go. It's true.
Oh, no.
It's true. It was true. I called this shit out. It's so fucking true. All of this is true.
Oh, no.
Can I take a break and be real for a minute? Not just reporting, but my very raw opinion. It's not whether the community is right or wrong. It's not whether there's any logic to the hate. We're talking about gamers. Once they've made their minds up, you're not going to change their minds. That's reality. That's the truth. That's one reason why Marathon was a hot mess and is still being perceived as a hot mess by consumers. Yeah. All right, we're good. We're going to continue on. Consumers in Destiny to play a new way when they're used to Destiny 2 and the way they have played for years. Sure, there's a lot of hypocrisy in the community. By the way, this is completely 100% true. Everything I said right here is true. And now I'm dropping frames again. Okay, great. Wanting new stuff, but also not being happy about it when they get it. But I don't think I've seen more unhappy people about Destiny and the direction it's going until now. I mean, look at the Final Shape. Into the Light was a success, and people were coming back in droves to get ready for the Final Shape. But if you look at the Rights of the Nine and the player population is lower than it's ever been. Very few people are getting ready or excited for this new expansion. The brutally honest truth, they should have made a Destiny 3.
You serious?
And made it a real MMO. You'd bring the most dedicated players, you'd bring in new players, and real MMO players who've wanted to play Destiny for a long time. But as it stands, Destiny is not a real MMO. It's a looter shooter with a Halloween mask that says MMO. And when you're trying to change that, players don't like it. Truth be told, you're better off making a new game and leaving D2 the way it is.
This is never, by the way, Glad has said the exact same thing. This is the funny thing. Glad literally says the exact same fucking thing I do. And he has more experience than I and anyone in this chat has with Destiny. Anyone who's watching this, Glad has more experience. And he says the exact fucking thing, or has in the past couple months. Is for the people who want to stick behind and continue playing that. Like I said, a good example is Destiny Rising, where many people are excited and hyped for that and willing to give it a shot because it's a new, fresh experience on the Destiny universe. Now, for my personal opinions about the whole situation, for those who made it to the end and wonder what are my core personal thoughts.
First,
allow me to destroy
By the way, these are still my true thoughts.
your gallery. Bullshit. Bullshit. Derivative. That I love. I absolutely.
I love Armor 3.0. I love the tier system. I love grinding. And I have something to chase. Hell, I like the idea of world tiers. Lastly,
my opinion on that has changed though. I don't no. Get rid of the mythic, put ultimate.
Should you buy the Edge of Fate? Well, first off, I brought a lot of the community criticisms on the table so you can make an informed decision yourself. But if you want,
and it was criticisms that people were murmuring, and I did bring it forward. There weren't just my criticisms, it was the community criticisms, and I called out a lot of stuff that I knew would be a problem with the community, and lo and behold, it was correct.
In my personal opinion, I'd say hell no. This is a new saga. Unlike the final shape where it was the conclusion of a story, the overall need to play was at an all-time high, especially if you wanted to see how the 10 years concluded. But with a new story, you really have no reason to rush. There's literally no reason at all to come back and buy a DLC that Bungie has gone out of their way to show as little about as possible. A DLC compared to Rise of Iron, which Rise of Iron revealed pretty much everything you wanted about the DLC. The raid, they actually showed an encounter, new strikes, new PvP maps. I mean, it had all the bread and butter. But as a player/consumer of Destiny, we're paying the same price, but we've lost 1 out of 2 raids a year, 1 out of 2 dungeons a year, seasonal content, strikes, at least this expansion, PvP modes, PvP maps, and a new subclass. Not to mention all the free changes are free. In fact, my brutally honest opinion, don't buy the expansion and just enjoy the free changes.
Which is true. That was so true that it was, I would say even the weapons. The funny thing is, the weapons from Edge of Fate, bar some of the raid weapons, most of the best weapons was free and from the portal. You got more bang for your buck on the free side than you did on the paid side.
Wait to buy after the mid-season update. Check out the free seasonal content, find out what the epic raid is all about, and if you've seen something you like about Edge of Fate, then jump in. For me, this could be another Rise of Iron situation. Even though I love the Rise of Iron strikes, the raid itself, Wrath of the Machine, carried the entire DLC.
I don't think this, considering how, considering how few people like the epic raid, I'm going to say it did not carry the Edge of Fate at all. This is not a Rise of Iron situation. I can't confirm it was not
for me. Well, until Age of Triumph came out, but we're not really counting that as part of the DLC. It's very possible that the Edge of Raid carries, and I love raiding. I consume raids. I'm the small percentage of people who play raids, except if it's another route of Nightmare raids. I think the DLC might be cooked, but obviously only a small.
I don't think it was Root of Nightmares cooked. It was nothing will ever compare to Root Nightmares. I think I'd rather play Guard of Salvation than Root Nightmares, to be honest.
Percentage of people do raids, and so this, for the community, that's not going to be enough to save the game, or should I say save the expansion. That's my personal opinion on whether you should buy the DLC. And overall, my insight of why Edge of Fate has already failed based on the community, the historical context, and the overall vibes. I don't want Destiny to die, but really the only people who control that are Bungie. And I didn't even mention the casuals and the new players. Sure, the portal's supposed to be for new player experience, but overall, people are going to be thrown into this new saga with all these other systems that are still in effect, and people are buying all the DLC, which this Bungie seemingly is trying to hide. So people are going to be wondering, what did I actually buy?
This is still very true.
As long as we have our imagination.
And we've yet to see any real updates on the new player experience in the back end other than the portal. The portal is now the new player experience, which, if you look at the portal, is still convoluted and very, very confusing. This has been why the Edge of Fate has already failed and why you should not buy the Edge of Expansion, the Edging of Our Wallets DLC. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Hit the like button, comment down below. And
I've not watched this since like it came out, and it is so fucking true. Crazy how fucking true this video was. Listen, I might just be a fucking prophet. It's crazy. I don't usually watch my own videos, but this one's like watching a time capsule and going back and seeing how much I got right and how much I got wrong. And it's crazy that a lot of things I could never like figure out that was going to happen. But here we are. Here we are, man. It's crazy. I want to do a video for Renegades. I'm just waiting for all the last dev stream and all that. I'm going to probably do something similar to this and really encapsulate, and then we can watch it back like this, and whether Destiny continues to, you know, live or die or just floats. You know, we all float down here. We'll run it back like this video. We'll run it back and react and see how much did I prophesize? How much did I get right? Because damn, it's crazy. 4 months ago, and I was fucking cooking. Look forward to that. So yeah, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Game out.